This episode is sponsored by that most wonderful time of the year when you spend all your daylight hours at work.
This episode is also brought to you by tasting vanilla extract and being sorely disappointed. This is Sorry for the Wait. Here we go! Fired up, ready to go. Welcome to the show, folks. This is Sorry for the Wait, a weight loss podcast for regular people, by regular people. I am your host, Seth.
And I am your host, Strawberry.
And Barry, I have to address something today because...
Go for it.
Because apparently there's a big contingent of people out there that just want to tell me that I'm weird for going to the movies alone. Now, let me explain. This past Wednesday, okay, so a week ago from when this comes out, there was a viral meme that just went absolutely insane all over the internet. I went to bed. I
know exactly what you're talking about, too.
Apparently, this person put up this photo on Reddit or what have you, and it got picked up by every meme account that ever existed. And the caption was, I wanted to take a picture of the only person in the movie theater, and I forgot my flash was on. Simple enough, funny joke. However, the official counter of how many people who sent me this meme is now up to 36 different people.
I mean, the person did look just like you, but not ginger.
I know. This is the problem I have, okay? So, like, I get sent this, and everyone's like, huh, is this you? And then
one of our friends sent it to me, and for a second, I was like, is this Seth?
Yeah, like, I even did, like, a little bit of a double take of, like, man, but, like, dude, I don't know whether to be, like, insulted. Like, I don't know. I don't think that if I'm going to go to the movies alone, okay?
Right.
If I'm going to the movies alone, one, I'm not going during the pandemic, okay? That's
very
one.
True.
Okay? I'm pretty smart, okay? The second thing, I'm not getting caught taking a picture. If someone takes a picture of me with the flash on, I'm not going to be that nice about it.
Are you going to walk up to them and be like, delete that?
I am a human lawn chair by nature where like old Seth probably would have apologized to that person. Like, oh, I'm sorry I fucked up your photo. Like me right now, I am hunting that person down and beating them until that photo does not exist on that phone anymore.
I think then you have a much bigger problem than going viral.
Yeah, no, true, fine. But you know what? The pride stands. Like, I'm not allowing somebody to meme. You're not memeing me on my watch unless I'm in on it.
I'm glad you bring that up, too, because that's a stigma I really feel like we should probably hit the nail on the head. What's wrong with going to the movies by yourself?
There is nothing wrong with going to the movies by yourself.
I feel like it's one of those things that people look down on, kind of like going to a restaurant to eat food by yourself. But, like, at least at a movie theater, like, if you're going with other people, you shouldn't be talking at all. So what extra value do you get by having other people there?
Exactly. You only gain, it's only a net positive. Like, I understand people are just like, that's kind of weird. But, like, you know what? This poor guy, man, the only thing that I'm happy about is that I shielded a little bit from this actual man. Like, this guy probably was just like, man, that guy took a picture of me. That's pretty weird. And then if he ever got on the internet in the following days, he was probably just
he knew.
Yeah, like, you have to know. And was there a resemblance? Yes. Do I think I'm a little more handsome? Maybe. Who's to say? But was it me? The official statement is no. I wish it was me. We would have rode that wave. I wish this was some harebrained scheme that you and I concocted.
Yeah, just dye your hair, and then nobody will recognize you at the movie theater.
And this dude had some gray in his beard. A little bit of gray. There's no gray in this beard yet.
Yeah, you couldn't really tell exactly, like, was he around our age? Was he maybe, like, 20 years older?
I did text my parents and be like, do you have something to tell me? Like, do we have a brother in our mid-30s? Like, I don't know.
And what was the answer?
My dad said everybody has a twin, which wasn't a no. Like,
that wasn't a no. You're absolutely right.
That's not a no. And then I don't think my mom really responded. She just did like the iPhone,
avoiding the question.
Hold down the answers on the text to like give one of those base emotions. Like, I think one was like an exclamation point, and I was like, I don't know how to interpret that, Mom. But on the record, it's not me. You know what I mean?
Off the record, was it you?
Yeah, it was me. But
okay.
Yeah,
I won't tell anyone.
We won't tell anybody. Everybody keep it a secret. Shh. But we're not keeping this a secret. I can't believe it. 2 weeks in a row, Hachi Machi, I forgot to feed my Tamagotchi. It's a break in foods. Breaking Foods.
I'm excited.
And it's from McDonald's again. Barry, the McRib is back.
Oh, no.
I know. Well, the one thing that really I don't know of anybody who asked for in the year of our Lord 2020.
It's a great way to end the year.
In the year of somebody's Lord 2020, the perfect cherry on top of this year was just like, you know what?
Bring the McRib back.
Yeah, we have no cards left to play, folks.
I mean, don't they do that every year, though? Nobody's really surprised anymore.
I know, but I guess they just change up the timing of when it comes back. They just pick.
They want to keep us on our toes.
Right, but like, I can just imagine the people at McDonald's like, it's the end of Q4, folks. Everybody's sad. What do we go with? The McRib.
Time to roll up and go, you know what I'm here for.
Yeah.
you know why I'm here.
That should have been a part of the Travis Scott meal. But the McRib lore is something I've never really understood.
I really don't get it either.
I've had the McRib once, and I was just like, man, it kind of was like a school lunch ribby Q sandwich.
I had one once too, and my first thought upon eating it was, I should have just gotten a Big Mac instead. Which, like, if your seasonal, like, specialty, like, bringing it out of the vault item doesn't compare to, like, your standard hamburger, then, like, stop bringing it out of the vault.
I don't know, like...
At least for me.
Right.
Don't bring it out on my account.
And, like, don't get me wrong, like, it's not a bad sandwich. Like, I'm not anti-McRib. It's just, like, there is the internet exploded. McDonald's changed their entire Twitter page to just, like, the McRib is back.
I almost feel like it's a meme.
Yeah, like...
It's not like nobody really wants
Yeah.
the McRib, but, like, everybody's like, ooh, the Mc... And it's artificial scarcity. If it was year-round, no one would be touching the McRib.
Right, no one would be touching it. Like, you know what I miss, though? I miss, like, the snack wraps that McDonald's used to have.
Those were good.
Yeah,
those
like,
were so good.
Bring those back in. I'll be jumping for joy. I'll be memeing that all day. But the McRib, you know, I don't know. But for folks who do love the McRib,
it's back. Yay, enjoy.
The McRib is back. Go get yourself a McRib and tell them that we sent you.
Treat yourself.
Yeah, treat yourself. But speaking of treating ourselves, I don't even want to waste any time. I just want to get right into it.
It's the craving of the week.
You know what? I'm feeling like I just want to get right into craving of the week.
I agree.
You know, so what do you got for me this week? What are you craving?
So when I was in college, Seth, we had a food truck that would come around lunchtime.
Okay.
And
like a real like outsider food truck.
Like an outsider food truck. And it was a halal truck.
Ooh.
And I would eat at this truck probably like 3 out of the 4 days of the week that I was on campus. And so I've been thinking about it, and I've been missing it a little bit.
Right.
You know, a little bit of that college nostalgia. And there aren't really any halal trucks around here that I've ever seen.
Okay.
So I want to turn my car, my personal car, into a halal car.
Ooh, I do like this. It's your own mobile food truck, but you're really just using it for driving.
It is, exactly.
Food is supplementary.
So take out the passenger seat. I don't really drive anybody anywhere, so take out the passenger seat. What do we need that for?
Right.
I want you to just replace the passenger seat with a small little grill.
Okay.
Right? I want there to be some cabinet space, maybe in the glove compartment.
Yep.
Right? And I want there to be like a little counter area that's like a sunken counter. So if I'm making a turn, things aren't sliding off.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I want to be able to just like, oh, I'm at a red light, turn around, make some falafel.
Yeah, or...
Right? Oh, the light just turned green, time to go. I'll just like put that down for a second. We'll drive. Do.
Yeah.
Next stoplight. All right, let's keep cooking.
You're kind of just like, you're almost like elongating the prep. Like, think of all the time it takes, like all that time that you're just putting meat on the grill. And then you got to wait.
Right. That's perfect driving time.
Like, you could get so good at this that you time it so perfectly that, like, you're putting stuff on right when you start your drive. And then by the time you get to your destination, you got hot, fresh food.
Absolutely. And the smell of the food, too, really keeps the smell of the car kind of nice and falafel-y.
Now, the problem...
Maybe some lamb.
Yeah, like, this is an issue, though, is cleanup. Like, do you think it just, like, you have, like, a straight run to your exhaust and you're just polluting the world?
If it means I don't have to clean up after myself, sure, let's do it.
That's pretty much all of everybody's approach when it comes to actually saving the planet.
Yeah.
It's like, if it's convenient, yeah, I can do that.
Maybe we'll put it in like a Tesla car, and then that way, you know, it'll run on electricity.
Yeah. No, that's really good. I do appreciate mobile craving of the weeks. You know what I mean?
You know, because what happens when you want to eat and you're on the go?
Right. Like, that's a big one. For me this week, though, not very mobile.
No?
It's not mobile. Now, my love for weighted blankets, right? I
love where you're going with
I
this.
love a good weighted blanket. Okay, and I think everybody does.
Oh, absolutely.
But sometimes, like your weighted blanket, it's a very time sensitive thing. Like you have to be in the mood for the weighted blanket, I think.
You think?
Yeah, I do. Like for me personally, like there are times where like I'll have like a weighted blanket near me, or like I have had a weighted blanket near me, and I'm like, man, I'm just not feeling it right now.
Okay.
I want a personal weighted blanket that can open up and I can take out pork fried dumplings.
That's what it's weighted with?
It's weighted with pork fried dumplings, okay? So
That's going to feel a pretty lumpy blanket.
Yeah, but I'm cool with that. I'm cool with lumpy blanket, you know? Because, like, the whole point of the weighted blanket for me was just to, like, make me feel like I was being held when I was lonely. But so I don't know why I am craving pork fried dumplings so bad, but all I could think of was like big weighted blanket. Don't care if it's lumpy. I'm sitting there. I'm doing a rewatch of Thrones right now, which is asinine. I know people can pick my brain on it later. I just want to be chilling with my weighted blanket, a little zipper pocket right at the top of it.
So
I
you
can
got a
just
little snacky snack.
zip
going
that
on.
open, pull out some dumps, you know, just some nice dumps, pull out some dumps, eat the dumps. And then like, as I'm feeling it, you know what? The blanket's getting lighter and lighter. And then it's kind of just like,
And then it's just a blanket.
right. I can eat to the weight. You know what I mean? Like if the blanket's too heavy and I'm not really feeling it, I just eat some dumplings. And then I get it to the right amount of weight that I'm like, you know what? This is a good weight. It's not too weighted, not too heavy, not too light. I'm just kind of really customizing the weight of my blanket, but with pork fried dumplings.
Now, would you say if you use that weighted blanket when you're feeling lonely, would you say that you would be feeling down in the dumps?
I guess I would be down in my dumplings, and it would be. Yes, I would be down in the dumps.
I feel like that was a very delayed.
Yeah, no, I know. It took me a couple seconds, and I was just like, man, like I don't know if you really went for it. Yeah, you went for it. But I don't know. For some reason, pork fried dumplings, I know there's no value there. There's no nutritional value there. But man, do I love dumping those things in some soy sauce.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Like we got Chinese this week.
Yes, we
you
did.
didn't get any pork fried dumplings though.
No, I didn't. I was actually pretty good with my Chinese selection this week. But I honestly think that a weighted blanket full of dumplings on your movie night, there's really nothing better than that. But we do have a submission this week.
Lay it on me.
Very happy. We do have a submission, and this submission comes to us from John out in Long Island, or out on Long Island, right?
Yeah.
It's on Long Island.
I live
right?
on Long Island. I live in. Yeah, it's on.
It's on.
It's on.
Yeah, because it is an island. You live on said island.
Right.
So John on Long Island, he's telling us that he wants a Monte Cristo castle. Imagine the entire castle made of ham, turkey, and Swiss cheese between challah bread French toast. And the moat around the castle would be cherry jam. And then, ... I could be ... the Count of Monte Cristo. I really, really like this. I like
that too. I think we need more castle themed craving of the week.
Right. I've especially now that like I'm in the throne zone all over again, and it has been a weird time to try and restart this, but I'm doing it.
Well, winter is coming.
Winter's, I mean, man, after yesterday, winter is here. But I do like the idea of being the Count of Monte Cristo. There's some good wordplay there. Like you're
definitely better than down in the dumps. So
right.
10 out of 10, John.
Now, if you had a sandwich castle, I think a siege is pretty easy. You know,
all you have to do is invite one of us.
Yeah, right. You have to either
we are the siege towers.
Yeah, it's just like, where's the army? We just brought these two oafs, and then we're like, yeah, we'll get to work. Or you like start, instead of like launching like catapult, like cannonballs or any of that stuff, you're just launching knives.
Well, and I feel like back in medieval times, like super fat people were kind of looked down upon in terms of like army. Because like, oh, what are you going to do? You're going to charge into battle? You're going to sit on this horse? But like now it's time for like Samwell Tarly to come out there and be like, it's my time to shine, motherfuckers.
Yeah, he's like, my watch is just beginning. and also, I mean, medieval people back then, it was wealth. Like you were pretty wealthy. You know, maybe we would go back and they'd be like, wow, these guys are gods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much money do you have? I don't know how much money I have, but I have all of human knowledge on this little square in my pocket. Does that help?
Too many pounds worth, baby. Like, just give me another. I don't know. What was their big thing? The food in Thrones is always throwing me off, and I want to get into it like in another episode when I really can kind of like.
There are some book quotes I got for you. If you want to do that.
Yeah, there's some weird shit, man. But that's another craving of the week. John, thank you for that submission. The Count of Monte Cristo.
That's a good one.
That's a royal decree from us. You are henceforth.
That's an all-time submission Hall of Famer.
Henceforth, the Count of Monte Cristo. But we are going to head into, you know it, you love it, It's another breaded and butter, and you've got one for me this week, I think, right?
All right. So this week's Breddit and Butter comes to you from, where else? Reddit. And the thread was, what is your favorite I don't feel like cooking meal to make?
Ooh, this is such a good question.
When I saw this thread, I immediately knew we had to talk about it because that's kind of you and me. Like, that's our MO here.
Right,
It's like the I don't feel like cooking.
Yeah, we live right in that space, and we have been for life.
Yeah, so it's definitely something that hits very close to home for me. So before we get into the actual Reddit thread, quick take here. What's your go-to, like, I don't feel like cooking, here's what I'm going to do?
I think it's mainly like it's probably two waves, right? It's either like an easy breakfast food, like no matter what time of day, it would be like just pour liquid egg whites into, like, that would be like an I don't feel like cooking if we're just excluding takeout. You know what I mean? Like, that would be, it's just the bare minimum of cooking. But for me, like, the really big one is, like, for us peanut butter lovers, for those in the peanut butter gang, you will put peanut butter on just about any carb imaginable. Like, when I was growing up, like, if I didn't have sliced bread for peanut butter, I would put it on hamburger buns. If I didn't have hamburger buns, I put it on hot dog rolls. And then, like, the last resort was like, man, how the hell do we not have all these other bread things, but we somehow have flour tortillas? Your boy was having peanut butter tortilla roll-ups. Like,
Nice,
I was
a peanut butter dilla.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I was putting peanut butter on just about any kind of starch carb. Like, I'd be hard-pressed to not put, like, peanut butter on potatoes, like, if that was the only thing left.
What about rice?
I don't know if I would put peanut butter in rice.
What about rice on peanut butter?
Huh. Well, if you think about it, a Crunch Bar is chocolate and crispy rice. So I could put...
True.
Maybe we just start making Crunch Bars, but add a peanut butter and crispy rice.
Okay, what about angel hair pasta?
I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could do that.
I had to kind of find a carb that you couldn't do it with.
But actually, if you think about, like, a Thai peanut sauce with noodles, like, I could maybe melt up some peanut butter and try it in noodles. Yeah, you know what? You know what? I'm sold. If I melted down peanut butter into, like, a peanut butter sauce, not like straight out the Jif or straight out the Skippy.
So no chunky.
Yeah, no, I'm probably not doing chunky peanut butter in the pasta. But that, like, I don't cook, like, if I'm ever really just like, oh man, like, I'm in a bind, then yeah, I'm going straight to peanut butter on just about anything.
Oh no, I'm totally with you, man. Like, for me, I go more towards sandwiches or wraps, which, I mean, longtime listeners will remember that was kind of my go-to food, like, every single day while I was losing weight. So to me, like, it was either, you know, you make a Morningstar patty by, like, chucking it in the microwave for a minute and a half.
Yeah.
Or, you know, take some cold cuts out and throw some cold cuts on there. Just wrap it right up. Boom, you got a nice little meal in, 2 minutes flat.
The problem with wraps is that if you're not, like, sometimes the fold, it's always the fold. Like, if
I'm terrible at folding it, and I've even, like, tried to watch YouTube videos to try to, like, compensate.
It is so funny to watch. Like, now that I've, like, figured it out, like, I just have to remember to, like, get, like, the tortilla, like, warm first so that it doesn't split apart. The first couple times that I was, like, wrapping up like a wrap or anything, this thing would split open 6 different ways, and I would just be holding ripped tortilla and sandwich innards in my hands, and I wouldn't know what to do. So I'm just kind of, like, bringing both my hands to my face to try and figure out how I should best eat this.
Yeah, you would need to show me your technique then, because I still just, like, I'll fold it up. I'll wrap it up into, like, a cylinder that's open on both ends, and then I'll fold one end up, and then the other end I just leave open, and that's what I eat from.
Right, and you just kind of, and that is a pretty common way. Like, that, a lot of people do that.
Yeah, but I want to get, like, that good, like, Chipotle technique.
Oh my God, I'm halfway convinced to cut this, and anyone who knows me will know. Let's get into that, okay? Really quick. Let's screw the segment for just a quick second. Barry has I have these. God, I'm irate even just thinking about it. Folks, the restaurant Chipotle, often amongst psychopaths, can be referred to as Chipotle. Like, it's people who just don't want to acknowledge ethnicity, I think. Like, they just don't want to acknowledge different cultures.
I don't think it has anything to do with culture. I think it's just, like, transposing 2 letters.
It is so wild to me. It is so clear as day, the spelling of Chipotle, That it is.
Well, yeah, because the T comes before the L.
It cannot be disputed. But yet you find so many people that are like, yeah, you want to go to Chipotle? I'm like, no, I'd rather go to hell with you, take you with me, and we will go through Dante's Inferno together. Then you tell me that we should go to Chipotle.
It's funny because I'm kind of with you in general, but I think it's so funny to say it in front of you ironically to get you just that little bit upset.
It is.
To the point where like I now sometimes accidentally, unironically say Chipotle.
Oh, God, it's that and riding the struggle bus. Which
is what you do every time I say that Chipotle.
Oh, God, dude.
Struggle is real.
There was that yes, the struggle is real. Riding the struggle bus. There was always a group of people that were like, I'm riding the struggle bus. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're having a bad day. There's no bus.
But maybe having a bad day is riding the struggle bus. It's a metaphor.
You didn't go to the station.
Don't
you
think
were like,
literally.
Oh, my God. It is so infuriating. So, folks, now you know how to get me. Please just send me all your Chipotle comments, and I can't wait to read every single one of them. But did the thread have any good answers?
Yeah,
I guess we should get back to the thread.
Breddit and butter without the Reddit. So just and butter. So the top answer was a quesadilla.
Okay.
So,
and I agree with that.
Yeah, you just like throw,
It is quite possibly.
It's kind of like a wrap, but like you just cook it a little bit.
It's the easiest steps of non-cooking that you can find. It is tortilla, cheese, tortilla.
And you can use like any sort of leftover anything you have. Throw a little bit of like some whatever leftover meats you got.
And peanut butter.
Even if you throw some. This is another one: grilled cheese and tomato soup, which that's always a good combination. I never actually ate that combination until I went to camp because my family hates tomatoes with a passion.
Oh,
so
interesting.
They just never brought tomato soup into the equation for me.
Yeah,
that was a revelation for me at camp when I saw people dunking it in the tomato soup. I was like, you can do that?
You're like, that's allowed? That's legal? I always the grilled cheese doesn't border on the lines of cooking to me. Tomato soup, a little bit.
I mean, if it's just like, oh, this is in a can, throw it into a bowl, put it in the microwave for 2 minutes. Like, that's not, I mean, to me, that's like the same level of effort as like the little wraps that I do.
That's fair. Okay. So what were the other big ones?
Well, first I want to just inform you about a comment on the grilled cheese and tomato soup. The top comment under that was, deconstructed pizza. So just sit on that one for a couple seconds. Thoughts?
No,
grilled cheese, tomato soup, deconstructed pizza.
Yeah. Are you kidding? Absolutely. It is bread, cheese, and then you separated the sauce. I mean, I would almost think that a grilled cheese is closer to a white pizza, but like, yeah, you know what I mean? If you think about it.
Maybe you need some of that sauce on there, though.
Right. But deconstructed pizza, I like that. That's a way fancier way to say grilled cheese.
And then this one, I didn't even realize I related to it, but cereal.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there have been several times where I have cereal in the house, and I'm just like, you know what? I don't feel like ordering in. I don't feel like cooking anything. I'm just going to have a couple cups of cereal.
I think over the past couple of years, we have eaten cereal more outside of the times of breakfast than we ever have within the time.
Oh, 100%. During quarantine at the very beginning, I was eating cereal for breakfast, but that was also because I was doing the intermittent fasting, so I only ate between 7 a.m. and 3 p.m.
Right. So
I
that
definitely
helps.
needed lots of breakfast.
Yeah, I think my cereal times were like 7:30 and 10:30 p.m. Like that was like my most common cereal time.
And then toast, which, you know what? I will say toast is underrated.
Yeah.
Toast is underrated because, like, if you think about it, there are some small things you can do with toast. I mean, you could sprinkle a little bit of, like, cheese on there, even if you just butter it up.
That's true.
Like, buttered toast.
A little bit of cinnamon on there maybe, too, like cinnamon and butter. I could do that. You know what? Maybe we don't give toast enough credit because maybe everybody just always has to think that it's avocado toast. You don't even have to go that far.
No.
Some good toast. Rye toast, though. Rye toast is like my favorite.
I'm not a big rye person. I just don't
Really?
like the taste of it.
Yeah, I'm a big rye bread kind of guy. I don't know why, but like smothered in butter. Hell yeah.
To me, like, yeah, smother it in butter, and then maybe we have some of that, like, everything bagel seasoning.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that would go great on the toast.
We got a nice
basically
jar
a
of
bagel.
that. I do like that. So, I mean, that's an extensive amount of people who are giving. I know it's the basics, right?
But that's the whole point. If you're being too lazy to cook.
For us who just despise cooking and are trying to get better with cooking, it's about the baby steps. Like, it's about doing things that are like, I cooked, even though it's just putting a tortilla and cheese in a pan with another tortilla.
Well, right. And like, as we get better at it and cook more often, I mean, look, Rome wasn't built in a day. It's all about sustainable baby steps.
Right.
You know, going into it being like, oh, I'm going to cook every single day of the week and twice on Sunday for meal prep. Like, that's not happening. But if you're just like, hey, you know what? I'm doing this stuff right now because I'm feeling too lazy to cook. But on this day, you know what? I want to cook today.
You're nuts if you don't
That's
think
a
I'm
victory.
You're nuts if you don't think I'm gonna call grilled cheese deconstructed pizza, like deconstructed pizza from now on, though.
Nice.
Like, I think that's the only way that I can. Like, if I see it on a restaurant menu, I will probably have to be like, I'll have the deconstructed pizza.
I wanna record you doing that.
Yeah, and
because I don't believe you.
And then being asked to leave. Yeah. I don't know many restaurants that are just like, yeah, I have a grilled cheese, unless like you're a child who just
That would be even funnier, honestly, is if you go in and you're like, excuse me, can I get the children's menu?
Yeah, and they're just like, you can get the hell out. But that's not can you just imagine? Hi, I don't like anything on this menu. All I want is bread and cheese. And they're just like, are you what? I'm like, you can charge me whatever you want. but
can you put it in the oven first?
Yeah, and it's a deconstructed pizza.
Get me some tomato soup.
But that's another Breddit and Butter, folks. We are going to move on into our main topic of the day, though. The title of this episode, not the show, but it's Family Matters. And
not the show?
Not. Yeah,
nah, I need
know.
to delete all these show notes.
I know.
Man. I had Urkel up here.
Could you imagine if like we just did this one-off episode and then the ancient fossil marketing team that is still like being resuscitated from Family Matters is just like, you owe us so much money. I'm like, it's just
all the royalties.
It's just a title, my dude. But we wanted to talk about this for a little bit, and like, this might be a little more uncomfortable for our families to listen to than
have fun with this one,
yeah,
guys.
than it would be for us to talk about. But it's real stuff, and I feel like we owe it to ourselves to talk about real stuff. And the whole thing with Family Matters is that it's almost, for most people, it's almost impossible for your family not to be a part of your weight loss journey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you are close with your family or you have a relationship with your family, which most do, but not everyone is lucky enough to have, odds are they're going to be with you almost every step of the way, whether you want them there or not.
Well, and I'll say, you use the term weight loss journey, but I would say even more than like weight loss journey, I think that everyone's weight journey, like whether you're losing or you're gaining, usually has a lot to do with family, because the people that you're growing up with, the people that you're living with, right? Like a lot of times you're eating some of the same foods, you're learning a lot of your food habits from your older family members, teaching it to any of your younger family members, right? So everybody's kind of in that together,
and you don't get to choose it. That's like a big thing. And like, it's not like it's all bad, because like this is two ends of the spectrum, but it's a double-edged sword of your family supporting you and then also enabling you. Like a perfect example, right? Is growing up, being fat my entire life, and my grandfather, who's my best friend in the world, all right? My grandfather, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, essentially, like partners in crime. Every weekend, right, when I was growing up, almost every single weekend, he would roll up to the house, knock on the door, I'd open up, and he'd be like, let's go to Friendly's. We're going to breakfast. And I'd be like,
let's go.
And I'm like, yes, let's go. And he would always get the lumberjack breakfast, and I would always get the super sizzling sunrise. Like it was every Saturday for, I want to say, like 20 Saturdays in a row, right? And we would go, and after almost every single time we would eat there, and it would be a lot of food. We'd get in the truck, and I'd be like full, but I'm like, I'm feeling nice. It's Saturday, like it's great. And then we'd be driving back, and then he'd kind of look over and he'd be like, it was a lot of food. You should probably think about kind of getting it together, like, and I'm like, what?
Stuffs you full of food and then says, hey, have you thought about losing some weight?
Right. And I'm like, what the hell, man? And like,
classic.
Yeah. And he would always just like kind of say it, but he would say it, try to be like soft about it. He'd be like, yeah, like, because then you'll be a better athlete. Like, then you'll be quick in the fourth quarter. And I'm like, you can just say it, man. Like, and then we'd be at his house watching football, and he'd be like, you want to get Chinese? I'm like, yeah, sure. Let's get a ton of Chinese.
Some mixed messages going on there.
Right. And then like in the same sentence, he would be like, there's ice cream in the freezer. And then 2 minutes later, he'd be like, it's a lot of ice cream. I'm like,
oh, I'm sorry. Did you want me to get half a scoop?
I'm like, what do you want from me? You're my friend. And these are the kinds of things that, like, I mean, your grandparents are supposed to spoil you, but it does hurt sometimes.
It's funny because me growing up, all of my immediate family has like struggled with weight issues, except for my brother.
Right.
My grandmother, my mom, like they were pretty overweight when I was growing up. And a lot of us, we had a lot of the same sort of issues medically that contributed to that, but also, just in terms of diet and lifestyle. And in some ways, it kind of makes you grow up. And maybe this is a difference between you and I, because I don't think your family was like this. But for me, I grew up kind of thinking it was just like destiny. Like I didn't really have a choice in the matter.
Really?
I was just kind of fat because like my whole family was fat. And
Interesting.
That's kind of how
Yeah.
it was. And, you know, like they were on the weight loss. They're still on the same weight loss, you know.
Ebbs and flows, yeah.
Ebbs and flows, just like everybody else who has weight issues. And it's funny because just a lot of times it just didn't sync up. So sometimes like my mom would be on this like weight kick.
Right.
And so she would like be bringing in nice foods in the house and I'd just be like wanting to eat garbage.
Yeah. So
And
like
then-
there was never on the same page kind of thing.
And then there was like one time, like when I was in college and I was trying to do keto, then everybody else was like eating regular food
Right.
still. And
You're
so
like-
bringing in like cookies and stuff into the
You're
house
like,
that made me
"Shit."
go, "Urgh." And so it was really just very hard to coordinate, like, hey, let's all do this together, because you don't want to pressure somebody else into joining you when they're not ready for it.
Right.
But at the same time, like if there's junk food in the house, and my whole family is like this, if there's junk food in the house, there's no diet going on.
Right, exactly. And I think that's super interesting that you felt it was like destiny or fate. Like you just kind of felt like, well, you know what? Like this is what our family is.
Yeah.
And that's a very interesting thing, because on the flip side for me, I always felt like I was just kind of the unlucky one. Like my mother has always been like pretty health conscious, and she's done incredible work like throughout the years, and she would always be very supportive, but I was just kind of this rebel without a cause. Like I hated being fat.
Your rebellious phase was just ice cream.
Well, yeah, it kind of was, because you don't want to be told by your parents about your health. You know what I mean? Like I know that this might sound a little choppy, but if my mom or my dad when I was younger, like not pressured, but just like recommended all these outlets, I felt like I was being like smothered, I guess, in a way, because I was just like, I know that they're just saying this because they're my parents, but like they don't understand what's going on in my head. They were just trying to find better ways to like kind of be like, maybe this would work. Maybe this would work. And then, of course, when you're a shit kid that's just like, nothing will work, then they get pissed. like
I've tried nothing and it still hasn't helped.
Right, exactly. Like that. Yes, that's the perfect way to put it. Of just like nothing will ever work for me and it's never going to work. And of course, like I always was like befuddled whenever my parents would get like frustrated about that. Like if your kid just tells you that nothing that I've never tried is working.
Now, can I ask you what it was like growing up? Like, how did that affect you and your relationship and your interactions with your sister?
Yeah, well, because like my sister was always, I mean, my sister has had health and wellness journey like goals along the way, but it's pretty easy to look thin next to your boy. You know what I mean? Like, and my sister has always been like pretty thin or just average, like normal weights, like she was never going to the doctor and they were like, you're overweight.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whereas like I walked in and I didn't even have to get on the scale. They were just like, you're in some percentile and it's not good.
And we are not giving you a lollipop on your way out.
Exactly. Like, or like I'd get the sugar-free ones. But for my sister and I, it was always very odd because my sister and I growing up were opposite people. Now, believe it or not, right? So my sister by nature is a natural performer. She was on the stage at a very young age. And I remember like going to shows and doing all the stuff. My sister would be on stage. And believe it or not, like I really wanted to kind of do those kinds of things. Like I wanted to like do more stage work or stuff like that, but I never really told anybody about that. I would see my sister up there crushing it, and then I would see like in a lot of these performances, like the bigger people, like the big people would always kind of be like the goofy kind of like, you know what I mean? Like I know this sounds odd, but it was like this like oafy kind of role. And I remember picking up on that at a young age of being like, whoa, like if I was to like keep doing this and be the size that I am, I'm good. It's almost like being typecast, like very young.
It's actually very funny you say that because my mom always told me that too. My mom and I went to the same high school,
Right.
Obviously not at the same time.
Oh, no?
But she was in the theater when she was in high school, and she made a lot of friends in there. But she always told me about how because of her weight, like she was always kind of like typecast into those side roles, even though she wanted to have one of those front and center roles.
Right.
But in the same time, she was always trying to encourage me to join that club because of how much it meant to her.
Right.
And for me, like I probably would have enjoyed it, but that was always kind of like something that kind of stuck in my head. It was like, well, why bother doing this if, I mean, I'm just going to be like cast on the side and just like, oh, I'm the tree.
Right. And it was
the roundest tree you've
yeah,
ever seen.
exactly. And so like, and my sister would be lead. And so like, in terms of affecting our relationship, my sister and I are extremely close. Like I would argue that we are closer than most siblings on this planet. Like I would go to war for her, she would go to war for me. Growing up, though, the biggest thing when it came to weight, where it affected the relationship, was that my sister was constantly winning a ton of shit, man. Like because she's that good and she's that talented. But for me as a kid whose mind is developing, I'm just like, man, I could win all this shit if I didn't look like a goddamn Goodyear blimp painted red. Like I was just massive, like Clifford the big red house dog. Like, and
I feel like you're also kind of a competitive person by nature too.
I am, and so it was just always funny. So then, of course, I went the completely wrong way. I started to try and play sports. Big dumb idiot. Like,
oh, I'm too fat to be on stage. So what should I do?
What should I do? Should I just
be an athlete?
Yeah, and I'm just gonna be gassed. And like, don't get me wrong. Like, it wasn't like I was the worst person to ever step on a field or a court. But at the same time, you gotta play to your strengths, my dude. And I didn't at the time. And so these are the kinds of things that when you're interacting with your family, I do think that like when it comes to my sister, it was something that never like deteriorated the relationship, but it was something that was always at the top of my mind.
See, and it's interesting you say that because, I think that we're almost like compliments here.
Right.
Because my relationship with my brother when we were children was very strained. And like, as I reflect on it now that I'm older and maybe wiser, hopefully wiser.
Yeah, one would think.
I do think that in a lot of ways, I kind of bullied my brother a lot when we were both kids.
Did you take it out on him?
And I think, like I said, he was the only one without weight issues. We would laugh that like he could eat he could eat French fries straight for like 2 full weeks and lose weight. And, you know, it was one of those things that as somebody who struggled with that, seeing him do that, and then also as like the older brother, like you don't want to feel inferior to the younger
you
brother.
have a complex to it.
Yeah, and so I definitely took that out on him in a lot of ways that were not very fair to him. And, you know, since then our relationship has improved. I probably feel like I have the best relationship with him out of my whole family.
Yeah.
You know, I do feel like that was something that was really more my problem and my own insecurities that as a child, I didn't really know how to handle right.
Yeah, and I think that especially when it comes to siblings, it's tough for parents too to like toe that line. You know what I mean? Because as parents, like you want your kids to have.
My mom would get so upset because my brother was like, typically he was the troublemaker, and so a lot of the times I would use that to like. I would use that to my advantage. And then like sometimes like my mom would overly defend him because like she would see that like she knew the score of the game that I was playing, but a lot of times I was still able to kind of get away with like
very Machiavelli, like
it was a very Game of Thrones-esque, if you will. Frame him for the problems that are going on.
I'm not joking. I would always use the times that my sister would get in trouble to get food. Like I'm not joking. Like this is a true story. Like my sister would be yelled at for something, like. Because, like, I mean, kids get yelled at for everything.
Right.
And then in comes Seth being like, hey, you guys need anything? Anybody need any help with anything? Hey, Mom, is there anything I can help you with? Hey, Dad, is there anything that you need? And, like, I would always try. And they probably knew. But, like, I mean, all parents know whenever the kid is, like, coming in for an opportune, like, gut punch. But I would use it to be like, yeah, do like a couple nice things and be like, hey, Can we get pizza tonight? And more often than not, they would be like, yeah, I guess we'll get Papa Gino's or some kind of shit pizza. And that's how like I would use it. But I do appreciate what my parents did with me growing up. And I think that it was very important. My parents they wanted to institute serving sizes with me because they just knew that I was eating so much. But they did try and make it for both of us. Like, even though I was the one with the weight issues, it wasn't just like, my sister got her own meal of whatever she wanted, and it was a group effort, which I appreciated.
Well, that is nice, having the fairness of it.
And, like, you know what the best part was is that, like, you know how, like, there would be, like, leftover dessert or, like, brownies or something, and, like, the kid always wants the bigger brownie.
Right.
Like, it wasn't automatically just like, well, you don't get the big, like, it was always some contest of some sort, like a flipping of a coin.
Or a push-up contest would probably.
Yeah, no, that would suck. Like, but there was never, like, just an automatic fail of like you're big, so you don't get the bigger one.
Oh, that's
like,
nice.
There was just kind of a thing, but I honestly think that.
Did you get to like lord it over your sister a little bit of like?
Oh yeah, every kid
like,
does.
Oh, you don't get to eat like as much as you want because your brother happens to be a fat piece of shit. Well, oh, too bad.
Yeah, no, I never was that sinister. Like I was always just like, man, like I wonder why I'm not.
I bet you wish you got seconds.
Yeah, like I can't believe that I'm not getting any smaller, and that was always just my thought as a kid. But like when you fast forward to like when I was an adult. My family, luckily, for me. And I know this isn't the case for everybody, but like my family is the reason why I started doing the OptiFast and doing the shakes.
Right.
Going to a seminar with my dad, and I talked about this on Dave Toronto's show too, but like for those who didn't get to listen to that, when I first went to the seminar for the shakes, I remember putting a huge X over the program, being like, fuck that. Like I am not doing that, because it was very reminiscent of what I used to do years ago.
Right.
Like,
just like super calorie deficient.
right. And
almost to the point of just not being healthy.
exactly. And I remember walking out of there and being like, damn, like there is no way. And my dad came with me, and I was so thankful that he came with me. And I remember sitting in the car, and he goes, it's not like that at all. He's like, that's the one you should do. And when you hear something from your parents with explanation behind it, instead of just like that's the one that you have to do, it was more of like, this is why I think that this is going to work.
And it was clearly a convincing argument.
It was a very pivotal moment in my life of like sitting in that car and deciding to do that. Like that, I'll never forget it. And then of course the support that my mom threw behind me from day one. This is the kind of support that everyone needs on any kind of health journey.
Right.
But it can be the total opposite. And it's up to families to really understand and stay in their lane.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, my family, obviously we live further away, so they weren't as much a physical, and throughout quarantine,
right.
It's not like I was seeing much of my family face to face, but my family has been very supportive, of this whole weight loss journey. And I think a big part of it was, and I haven't asked them about this, but I felt like it was my destiny to always be fat. And I wonder how much of my family and friends and just everybody who knew me for so long, because I'd always been fat.
Right.
I wonder how many people were, on the one hand, almost like, I don't expect much from this. But then like at the same time, like once I start to like have actual like success behind me of like, 50 pounds, 70 pounds,
right.
100 pounds, like, everybody's just been so supportive and.
And it's easy for people, like I will admit that like it is definitely easy for people to be on your bandwagon when you've already proven some stuff. What I do really appreciate is people who are with you from the start of like, you can do this. Like you possess the ability to do this. And that's what I needed from the very beginning.
Well, and one thing I will say, I feel like this is something that I've seen not at all with my family, but in terms of human psychology with other people. Misery kind of loves company.
Yeah.
And so, the fact that my family, who has struggled with weight issues, and many of them still struggling with weight issues, the fact that there wasn't resentment of like, oh, you left us behind in the fats.
Yes.
You know, because I feel like
you are the dearly departed. Like.
Right. Like that's a very psychological like thing that, I didn't expect my family to do.
Yeah.
But I feel like anybody who resists that natural human nature of like, I don't know, just feeling left behind.
Yeah.
When somebody does that. And instead they've been taking it as an inspiration. And I get texts and I talk to, different family members all the time. My mom, my stepdad, like who just tell me of like certain things that they're doing that, if it wasn't for the show, if it wasn't for what I'm doing, they wouldn't be doing. And that makes it feel so much better.
And it makes it feel like a more like included, like we're in this together type of thing, which is the main thing that we're trying to establish. Like you'll have, and not everybody is as lucky. And I've dealt with some family members who have seen me at my thinnest and really didn't say much, but then saw me get really big again.
And oh boy, did they have stuff to say.
And you were there for a couple of them. I mean, there were some family members that just always had something to say of like, what I'll never forget being asked point blank at a Thanksgiving last year, like what happened to you? And there is no worse feeling on the planet than being just said like, and then not letting it go. And this is like in front of people. And like, me, most people know me. I can brush things off and like make a joke here and there. I was wrecked. Like it just was the point where I didn't even want to stay at Thanksgiving anymore. Like at that point. And I know that there are so many people out there who have one or two family members that just cannot read a goddamn room. And all you want to do is throw their head through some glass. But there's a way to navigate it. And I'm not necessarily sure what the best way is. But it's there, and it involves not giving them that kind of power.
Yeah, I mean, like my go-to if I'm the one like that and somebody says something like that nasty to me is my go-to would be to try to respond in kind.
Right,
and just try to give such a cutting comment that they feel like they've lost the war.
Yeah.
Not only have they lost the battle, but they've lost the whole war right there. But I feel like that does give them too much power.
Yeah.
And it makes yourself out to be the bad guy in a way that like, I don't know, probably a kill him with kindness kind of thing. Maybe one of those like passive aggressive statements that's like kind of stabbing the knife in the back, but not like outwardly it's very nice. You know, one of those like, oh, bless your hearts kind of deals.
Yeah, it's so tough especially because it's family. Like if it was if a stranger came up or like someone I don't
know, somebody says that to me, all bets are off.
Yeah, well, that's the thing though, is that like if not a stranger, but like someone who like I knew but was more acquaintances and came up and like pulled some shit like that, I have no problem going back at them with the fury of 1,000 suns. With family though, it's a very tough relationship that you need to navigate because like you never want to like be dropping F-bombs out of control like to like an extended family member at Thanksgiving where like you're all about to like eat and chill.
I feel like there's some really cutting remarks you could say that are clean.
Yeah,
no swear words involved.
Yeah. No, and I'm sure that there are, but these are the kinds of relationships that are just a little more elevated than just like bullshitting around with somebody insulting you. And it's
just be like, oh, now I know why Uncle Jeff left you for his secretary.
That's not oddly specific, is it? No.
Okay. I don't have an Uncle Jeff.
Neither do I, so I was just hoping that you weren't just putting Uncle Jeff on blast. For anybody who has an Uncle Jeff, please send them this episode. Why not? You know, screw it.
Don't send it to his wife because she doesn't need to know.
But I think that for anyone who's listening to this who might not be on the journey, right? Mm-hmm. They might know somebody who's on the journey. You got to be in their corner. I can't stress it enough. Like, if you think that they needed support from you in anything else, trust me in saying that they need you on this. They can't deal with the backhanded like compliments. If they're trying something that you don't think is the wave, you got to let them try it. You can't put thoughts in their head that are going to make, like, you know what I mean? Like if someone's trying a program that you don't agree with, you got to let them try it.
And to anybody who's like on a weight loss journey, you know, you and I have two pretty different perspectives on our families, but at the same time, both of our families have been supportive of us.
Right.
And, you know, my heart goes out to all of the people who are on a journey like us, who their families are more toxic.
Right.
And, you know, they might be listening to this and they might not even realize that, like, they're part of the problem, like the family members, right? But, like, if your family member is, like, if your family is just toxic and they're dragging you down, like, you don't have to put up with that.
Yeah, no, you set your boundaries and you set your parameters and stick to them. And I know it might be a tough conversation to have, but it's worth having because it's for you and it's for your well-being.
And you give them an inch, they take a mile.
Exactly.
So you know that even when you lose all of that weight and like they're like, there's always going to be something.
Yeah, there will.
Those kinds of people.
And so the best part is to just put your foot in the ground and keep it there, keep it firm. Don't move an inch and set your rules. And if they're with you and if they're good family members, they're going to be with you till the end of the line. But we are going to move on. That's Family Matters, folks. That's our main topic of the day. We really hope that helps some people out there. If anyone has any questions on that, really, truly, we want to hear what people's scenarios with their families are, whether they're good or bad, because I do think that this is something that knows no bounds. So SFTWSubmissions at gmail.com. We are going to finish. We're bringing it back. A really good, nice, fun round of Confooding. Very excited for another installment of Confooding. I think we've only done this once.
I think so too, yeah. What confoods you?
So Confooding, folks, just as a refresher, right? Confooding, these are just the things in the food world that confuse us. It can be anything. Just what is with this food? Why is it called that? What does this mean? Anything that confuses us. I almost just said confoods us. Yeah.
I feel like we should go full send with it. Just stop saying the word confused.
Yeah, I'm just confooded. And so that's what this segment is all about. And as always, if you need any food questions answered or just completely beefed by either of us.
Yeah, I mean, we're food experts, but not like health experts. We're more just like, we're experts at eating is really what I'm trying to say.
So what's confooding you this week?
All right. I just had a new menu item from Dunkin' Donuts.
Okay.
The Sugar Plum Macchiato.
Ooh.
And can I ask, I've never had anything sugar plum related, but I know like visions of sugar plums dance in their heads.
Right.
Like very Christmassy kind
I've
of
only
thing.
heard it in very much Christmas songs and lore.
It tastes like coffee mixed with prune juice. And I'm just so confused. I'm confused by the sugar plum.
This
flavor.
is a justifiable knock because you tried it.
I did. I knocked it. I'm knocking it because I tried it. And I just want to know, like, if you're somebody who is like, ooh, I'll have the sugar plum macchiato, like, obviously the first time I get it. But if you've ever gone back and ordered it again, why?
Oh,
and
man.
like, if that's what actual sugar plum tastes like, double why?
Yeah, that is. I've never had. Now it's kind of wild that I've never had anything sugar plum related.
And like, I don't even know what is a sugar plum. Is it a type of plum? Is it its own separate fruit?
Right. Is it a plum?
Just a plum with sugar on top?
Right, like with granulated, like powdered sugar, not powdered sugar, I guess maybe like crystallized sugar. I don't know. That's super odd. And why is it just a Christmas thing?
You know what? We're confooded.
I'm
I'm Googling it.
I just don't understand what the purpose.
Oh, it's a piece of hard candy made of hardened sugar in a small round or oval shape. Plum in the name does not always mean plum in the sense of the fruit, but refers to the small size and spherical oval shape.
Interesting. Okay, so you could call this a sugar orange. You could call this a sugar berry.
Maybe if it's a big one.
Right? Like, I don't know. Because
I guess
are
if it's
plums really that small?
they can be.
I guess. Yeah. Man, that's odd, though. So the sugar plum macchiato is a 2 thumbs down from you, though.
Oh, two thumbs. Honestly, I wish I had a third arm because 3 thumbs down.
Wasn't Dunkin's big thing the peppermint stuff? Like,
Yeah, and they have the peppermint mocha. They
okay,
have
so they
the
still have all that stuff.
gingerbread.
They're just trying to add more shit. They're just trying to throw everything against the walls.
And you know what? I'll give them this. All of their seasonal flavors, I like, except for this one.
Yeah, except for this one. So, so that's your confooding.
That is. What confoods you?
For me, I don't know what made me think of this, right? But it is something that I think truly underneath all of this has bothered me for years. I want to talk about salad, but I don't want to talk about salad.
Oh, you want to talk about salad?
I want to talk about salad. I want to talk about chicken salad.
Macaroni salad.
Macaroni salad. Egg salad.
Potato salad.
Potato salad.
Tuna salad.
Tuna salad.
Seafood salad.
Yeah, seafood salad, man.
There's no lettuce anywhere.
I am so confooded by all of this. The idea of chicken salad, I don't understand where it gets the name, and I don't want to look it up. I just want to understand what psychopath was just like, yeah, we're going to put a bunch of chicken and a bunch of celery
and mayonnaise
and a bunch of mayo. And someone had to have just looked at this person inventing it and said, like, this is going to kill somebody.
Like, this isn't healthy.
And then they just had to be like, well, not if we brand it the right way. It's chicken salad. It's egg salad. It's macaroni salad. It is just mayo-based poultry and meat. And like it blows my mind that you could call it anything else. You could call it chicken mash. And I would think that makes more sense than chicken salad.
It's funny. You're saying this. It reminds me of a camp bit that I really liked when it was like a welcome show on the first night of camp.
Yeah.
And I came out pretending to be one of the nutritionists talking about like how great like everybody's going to eat like just salad all the time. Chicken salad, potato salad, fruit salad. Well, yeah, fruit salad too. Like,
fruit
that doesn't even have mayonnaise.
Exactly. Fruit salad doesn't even make sense. Like I don't understand. Do they just mean that it's like a mixture of things?
But then where does it end?
Right. Where does it end? Because then anything.
Soup salad.
Yeah. Then nachos are a salad.
Are nachos a salad?
They
Coming
are.
to a dinner debate near you.
I'm not joking. Like if we're just going to call chicken salad a mixture, like it just has to be a mixture, then that means that a mixture of tortilla chips and cheese is nacho salad. Like I don't understand where the naming convention comes from. It makes me angry. We also got a mini submission like along this argument, and it was just a meme from Katie in Rhode Island that chicken salad and egg salad are essentially the same thing.
Well, which came first?
I don't know which one came first, but I know that they're essentially the same thing. And I remember reading that and going, "Oh, damn, that hurts." Like,
well, I think like egg salad is really just like chicken salad fetus.
Yeah.
Chicken fetus.
Oh, that's
salad.
gross. Oh, that's terrible.
From now on, petition to rename egg chicken fetus.
Yeah, that's God.
That's like when PETA went around trying to get people to rename veal into dead baby cow.
Right, yeah, and everyone was just like, it's too many syllables.
Not happening. It's not catchy.
Yeah, it's not catchy, but that's what confoods me this week. I just don't understand why anyone could be like, I'm having a salad today, and then they just pull out some willow tree and just, and then someone's like, are you sure about that? And they're like, it's in the name.
And that's not to knock any of these salads because
they're some of our favorites.
Salad, seafood salad, like I'm a big fan, like, but
Branding.
Why? Yeah, I guess you're a marketing person. You should appreciate the long con.
I'm not joking. This is one of the first long cons of marketing, is just saying that if someone was like, if you were just to tell someone what you ate today, right? If you really wanted to be sneaky about it and someone was like, what'd you have for lunch today? And you're like, oh, I had a chicken salad. And you just slip the other in there. I had a chicken salad. Someone thinks that you probably just had like a Caesar salad with grilled chicken.
Right.
Lo and behold, you had an entire willow tree chicken salad tub just like straight to your face.
Next time I order pizza, I'm going to tell people that I had a tomato salad with cheese.
Yeah, exactly. See, because at this point, if it's just a mixture, anything is a salad. But that's another Confooding, folks. Lo and behold, here we are. We're heading into closing thoughts. And I know that we're probably going to get some text from our families.
I feel like we gave them positive.
I think
positive
so
vibes
too.
through that.
Because that's the thing, is that if you have support along the way,
My brother will probably be like, "Oh, so you bullied me?"
yeah,
huh?
he'll
I
be
didn't
like,
know that.
He's like, I have the upper hand now. But I think it's interesting for people who do have good relationships with their families, but for some people who have to choose their family. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes you choose your family, and that's just as valuable. But the big thing is that the people you have around you and the support that you have along the way is going to help you sustain this. It's not just going to help you get there. It's going to help you stay on track. And we're lucky that we have each other and our families on a daily basis, that even when we slip, we know we have people around us that will pull us back up.
Well, and I really like what you said, too, about sometimes it does have to be the family you choose.
Right.
Because family, in this sense, doesn't always have to mean blood. You know,
No.
family is whoever is around you.
Right.
Or whoever you want
whoever
around
whoever you want around
like,
you.
like this guy in the elevator, is he my family now? No. But
Cousin!
but if you're like, hey, hang out in the elevator with me, then maybe he could be part of your family.
He could be. You never know.
You know?
But it's a big thing, folks, and we really hope that everyone out there who needs any support comes to us for support, because we're here for you as much as we can be.
We can be your family.
We will always be your family. So
especially with Christmas coming up, as long as you got I'll send you my list.
Ask us to be part of your family by sending us an email at SFTWSubmissions@gmail.com.
And you can follow us on every social media platform: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Zynga.
Is that a social media?
I don't know, but
Farmville. Add us on Farmville.
Add us on Farmville, and then leave us a voicemail about your crops. 774-855-9433.
And then leave us a 5-star rating and a review on Apple Podcasts. That would be super, super appreciated.
It would be super dope. We're at 162 right now.
If you get us to 200, I'll take Seth out to Chipotle.
If we get to 200, we're going to do a massive giveaway. So tell your friends. We're going to
steal their phones.
If we get to 200 ratings and reviews on by the end of the year, we are going to do the most massive giveaway we've ever done.
Oh yeah, but you guys don't have that much time. It's already December.
So let's go think about how we're going to do that now. But until next time, folks, I'm Seth.
And I'm Strawberry.
And remember, keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer, but keep your snacks the closest.